Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining me for part 3 of our Circles for Circulation program. So, in this session, we're going to continue moving through the ball and socket joints of your shoulders and your hips, really getting that synovial circulation moving back in and around the joint, as well as maintaining our healthy range of motion. In this session, we are also going to start to introduce a little bit of abduction. So we're going to start to reach these limbs out and away from the midline. So much of what we do in our day-to-day lives consists of moving forward and backwards, right? This is what we call our sagittal plane of motion. We move forwards and we go backwards. So we need to remember what it feels like to bring the arms and the legs and stretch out and away from the heart space, right? From the center. So we're going to weave all of this together into a short practice, and you're going to need a blanket and you're going to need a couple of blocks, and I will meet you on the mat. I'm going to suggest that you have a seat on your block, something that lets your hip points come a little bit higher than your knees. And we're going to start just with a little bit of gentle lubrication into the joint. So bring your fingertips to your shoulders and let's draw these circles with the elbows. And we might notice as we're circling here that there's a little bit of movement coming into the spine as well, right? As we bring the arms up, there might be a sense of kind of arching the back. Maybe if you're going the other direction, as we bring those elbows forward, we find ourselves kind of rounding in the back. So notice what's here with you. And then for these final few circles, let's see if we can honestly stabilize the spine and see what our range of motion, our ROM, is like in the shoulder girdle when we're not recruiting from the spine. All right, good. We've got some nice circulation going into the joint here. So let's meet each other with these elbows out to the side. And from this place, we're going to start to lengthen the lever, which means fingertips are going to reach further out and away. So here we go. We're already starting in our abduction. Right now, the palms are face up. Let's go ahead and circle down and back, internal rotation, and then up. And then down and back. And let's find this movement. Notice I'm keeping some softness in my elbows, right? So not locking that joint and really, finding these bigger circles. This is certainly going to start to build some heat in the deltoids, the little muscles of your shoulders, but that's helping us to get blood and oxygen to the joint. This is healthy for us. Let's keep going. It's getting everything hydrated, synovial fluid, blood and oxygen, right? Hyaluronic acid. We're going to get everything kind of flowing through the heart space here. All right, take just another moment. And let's say that the next time we find our palms facing up, we're going to pause. And you can let these arms start to come all the way down to your side. And let's take these hands behind the back, interlace your hands right here at the back of the pelvis and start to slide your interlaced hands over towards that left hip. And then we'll drop the left ear to the left shoulder. We'll take a reprieve here, get a little stretch to the upper trapezius, through the neck and shoulders. It might feel nice here to roll your chin down towards your sternum. Maybe smile to your heart. And then bring that left ear back to your left shoulder. Let's do it one more time. Let's go chin to sternum and ear to shoulder. All right, this time as your chin goes towards your sternum and you're smiling to your heart, let's pause here and we'll slide these interlaced hands back towards the sacrum. Go ahead and lift your head, place it back on top of your spine, and we'll take it right on over to the second side. So interlaced hands slide over towards that right hip. Drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Oh, let's just see what's here with us now. After we've gotten all that circulation moving to the muscles, moving to the tissues, now we can really drop in for a beautiful stretch. So let's go again, chin to sternum and right ear to right shoulder. Maybe one more time like this. Chin to sternum and ear to shoulder. All right, one last time, chin to sternum. This is where we're meeting each other. And you're going to slide your hands back towards the middle of the pelvis, lift your head. And from here, let's go ahead and release these hands. And we're going to come into what I like to call side body balance, right? So continuing this journey of circling through the shoulders, circling through the hips, but we're going to do it balancing on our side body. So let's go ahead and come down onto the right side. And as you come down, you might notice that you want to cradle your head and bend your knees. But I'm going to really challenge us to come into what I like to call pencil straight. So you're going to have two legs reaching down towards the bottom of the mat. And you're going to have this right arm reaching all the way to the top. And you can rest your head on the upper arm. And we're going to take this left arm up to the sky here. And from this place, let's start to draw circles, right? It's just like what we were doing moments ago, right? We're reaching the arm out and away from the heart space. This is abduction, but we have changed our orientation to gravity. We've got this nice sense of kind of rooting the head of the arm bone into the shoulder socket. Take a couple more moments here. These can be big circles. They can be medium circles. They could be little circles. And maybe you're noticing as we're drawing these circles, taking a moment to go the other direction as well. Maybe you're noticing that there's a little bit of wibble wobble in your physical body right now. So let's just navigate the wibble wobble. This is helping us to kind of wake up our core stabilizers. All right, from here, let's pause with the left arm reaching up, and we're going to do the same thing with the left leg. This gets a little more challenging, right? You're bringing that left leg up towards the sky. So essentially abduction. We're moving out and away from the midline. And from here, we're going to challenge ourselves to start to draw circles with this left leg. And now things might get really wibble wobbly, and we are certainly going to start to build a little bit of heat around the muscles and the tissues that surround your hip joint. All right, draw your circles the other way. Nice job, right? We're not used to balancing on the side body, so you get an A+ for your willingness to play. Take one more big circle, and then we're going to pause. You're going to let the two legs come back to stack. Arms come to stack. So essentially we're heading back towards the midline, and we're going to play with what I like to call half jumping jacks. So on your in-breath, you're going to reach arm and leg up to the sky. It's like you're being abducted by aliens. And then slow your descent back to earth. And this is really where the magic happens. Can we resist that pull of gravity, starting to strengthen again the tissues around the joints? All right, we're only going to do this 3 times. So go really, really slow. All right, last one. Reach it all the way up. And let's slowly, how slow can we go as we descend all the way back to planet Earth? All right, from here, let's pause. And you can go ahead and bring your left hand to the floor, and we'll bend these knees and we'll bring them in towards the chest. And you can press your hands into the floor. And we're going to take this right on over to the other side. So we do our kind of slow motion break dancing on the floor. Let's come on to the left. You're reaching left arm out. We're challenging ourselves to come into that pencil straight shape on the floor. And then let's bring right arm up to the sky. And you might notice right away, as you start to draw your circles with the right arm, that you've got more stability balancing on your right side or your left side, right? So these are curious and interesting things to know. Again, we're used to balancing on our feet. Body is very comfortable. That's a familiar movement pattern, but we're not as familiar with balancing on the floor, on our side bodies. So laugh, smile, chuckle, have fun with it, right? We're strengthening core muscles as we lubricate these joints. So let's do one more circle. And then I'm going to meet you with that right arm reaching up, and we're going to challenge ourselves to float the right leg up as well. Okay, even I have some wibble wobbles here. Let's draw these circles, explore. Right? There's no need to try to do this perfectly. In fact, if you are wibble wobbling and navigating the wibble wobble, you are doing it perfectly, right? So let your body figure out how best to provide some stability for you. We're waking up the body's intelligence. All right, you saw that I changed my directions of circles there. So if you haven't changed, take a moment to change your direction because we're just about to set these two legs down, two arms stack, and we're going to find again these three slow motion jumping jacks. So reach it up. So two limbs abduct. And then slow the descent, right? How slow can we go? A little bit of our own active resistance, right? Body has this great love affair with gravity, and we're defying that love affair, right? Don't worry. At the end of practice, we'll like really lean in to our love affair with gravity. All right, one more of these great expansions. Slow that descent. This is the last one. Be with all that is. We might be feeling a little bit of warmth in our legs, but eventually everything comes back to stack. You can take this right hand to the floor. We'll take a bend to these knees, bring them back in towards the chest, and let's press through the hands and bring ourselves up. And I'm going to have us grab these blocks, and we're going to take the blocks at the top of the mat on their tall setting. And then from here, let's spin this around and come into our tabletop setup. Now, I'm going to take a moment to fold my blanket back so I have something underneath my knees, but I have my hands and my feet to the sticky mat. And then once we've got this set up, quadruped position, 4 points of contact with the earth, let's turn these fingertips out towards the long edge. Walk your hands out a little bit wider so that you can take those 4 fingers and grip the edges of your mat. And then tuck your toes. All right, from here, we're going to do a little more familiar movement, right? Your body is going to recognize cat-cows. We'll drop the belly, drop the pelvis, lift your heart, lift your gaze. So there's that extension in the spine. And then we'll round the spine, come into our cat shape. I want you to keep your cat shape, keep your toes tucked, and let's set the hips back towards the heels. And we're going to pause here actually for a moment and really get some traction. So yes, you are stretching into the soles of your feet. We're starting to activate a little more mobilization into your plantar fascia, right? And then of course we're gripping the edges of the mat so we can really get some traction here. All right, from this place, let's press to the ball mounds of the feet and lift the hips up to downward facing dog. And as we come up into dog, let's release these hands from the edges of the mat. Take your hands to the floor like our more classical setup for downward facing dog. And we'll take some moments here to kind of pedal and stretch, getting a little more space into the area of your calves. I don't want to keep us here too long today. So let's start to walk these hands back to the feet. And as we walk back to the back, we're finding this really healthy bend to the knees. We're going to drop the crown of the head. You're going to reach for those elbows. And we're going to pause here. Now, this is a forward fold. This is sagittal plane of motion. Body is pretty familiar with the fold. So what would it be like to add a little sway side to side? And we might find that now we're not only stretching through the backs of the legs and the soles of the feet, but we start to get a little stretch coming into the side body, into the low back, that area of your QL, the quadratus lumborum, right? That really tends to experience quite a bit of tightness. So give yourself permission to sway in your forward fold. And then we're just about to come back into our exploration of circles. So from here, let's go ahead and bend the knees enough to get your hands all the way back to the floor. And we're going to start to walk this back into downward facing dog. And when you get to your downward facing dog, I want you to find a nice big in-breath and a nice big out-breath. And then we're going to walk the feet to the hands. And remember, we left these blocks at the top. So as your feet get closer to the top, let's take the hands to the blocks. And we're going to come up into what I like to call stilted tabletop. So it's just like a tabletop. We're just further away from the floor. Let's see if we can get some length in the spine here. So blocks are on tall, and you've got a block underneath each shoulder. All right, we're going to take our weight onto the right foot, and you're going to shift your hips just a little bit so that you can swing this left leg forward and back. It's like a free range, organic movement. We're swinging forward and back. We're back in that sagittal plane of motion. And then let's pause here. Keep your foot hovering, and we're going to come into the abduction. So you're going to take your left leg out to the left, and notice how quickly we want to come out of this range. All right, bring your leg back behind you and towards the earth, but don't let it land. We're going to do it again. You're going to go out to the side. Remember, your hips were made to go in this direction. And then back behind and towards the earth, but don't let it land. Now, 3 is my favorite number, so we'll do it one more time. Out to the side, back behind. And this time, as that left leg comes down, let's cross the left leg behind the right, and you'll find a really nice bend into your right knee. And we'll inchworm the toes forward so your pinky toes are meeting up. Go ahead and walk your blocks over so that you're framing your 2 feet. And from here, we're going to bend these elbows, and we're going to let ourselves drop back into that forward fold. Now you've got your legs crossed. So this is what we would call adduction. It is the counter pose to the abduction, the abduction. So we've got adduction and AB. So when we cross the midline, which your legs are doing right now, we are adding to the midline. So this is a beautiful stretch to the outer hip, right? IT band. This is a really great runner stretch. Let's notice where the gaze is. And if you've got your gaze towards the floor, let's see if we can adjust that. Take your gaze towards your legs, like really this act of kind of letting go to what is here with you in this space. All right, take another round of breath. And on that note, let's remind ourselves to keep breathing. This is a big stretch. And then from this place, let's press your hands into the blocks. Come back into your halfway lift. I want you to squeeze your legs together like you're one solid pillar of strength so that you can come up onto tented fingertips. And then keep squeezing the legs together. We're going to fly these arms out wide and up. And I'm going to meet you here with these arms reaching up overhead. We'll pull the hands down through the midline and uncross the legs. And we'll come back into this very familiar bipedal position. Remember, there was a time when we had to learn how to be in this position. But now it's kind of it's a regular old in-house favorite, standing on 2 feet. So let's take this to the other side. Let's play with the abduction, adduction of your legs. Nice big in-breath. Sweep the arms out wide and up. And then exhale to fold. And you can take these hands all the way back to the blocks. Walk your blocks back over so they're underneath your shoulders. And from here, we're going to transfer weight onto the left foot so you can shift your hips, kind of hover this right foot up off the earth about an inch, and go ahead and find your swinging forward and back. So sagittal plane. Notice that this is comfortable in the body, right? We're familiar with this. Okay, slow the movement of your leg and let's go out to the side and remind yourself that your body was made to go in this direction. We just don't do it very often. All right, leg comes back behind and then towards the earth, but don't let it land. So this is what we call functional movement, out to the side, back behind, towards the earth, but don't let it land. Here we go. Last one, go out to the side, back behind. And this time, as you lower that right leg, you're going to cross it behind the left. You're going to take a really big bend to that left knee. Inchworm the toes forward. Pinky toes are happy to see each other. It's been a very long time. Walk your blocks over. Find your nice big in-breath. And on your exhale, let's bend these elbows and come into our fold. And again, let's check to see where the gaze is, right? If we're looking between the blocks at the floor, that's a way of your body sort of coming out of the stretch. So let's see if we can really surrender to this. Drop the crown of the head, look back towards the legs. It's a big stretch, so let's make sure we're not holding the breath. Right? There might be a lot of tension being held in the fascia, in the connective tissue around the outer edges of the hips. It's common for all of us to have tightness there. So if we hold our breath, we're going to really send the message to our body to hold the tension. So find a nice big in-breath. Let's rewrite those tension patterns. Open your mouth and surrender the exhale. All right. From here, let's press hands into the blocks. Come back into your halfway lift, right? We're going to squeeze these legs together, right? Really coming in for this adduction, adduction. Come up onto the fingertips. And then from here, legs are so strong, we can sweep these arms out wide to the side, sweeping those arms all the way up, one big mighty circle. And then let's pull these hands down through the midline as we come back to stand on 2 feet. And from here, go ahead and release your hands to the side body. We're going to make our way all the way back to the floor, but let's do it together, right? Let's draw one more big circle. Sweep the arms out wide and up. And then on your exhale, let's come back into that forward fold. You could take your hands to your shins this time. We'll inhale, slide the hands up the shins. Exhale, slide the hands down. We're going to bend these knees enough to get your hands to the floor. Step your right leg back and lower the right knee. That blanket's still back there for you. And then we'll slide the left foot back as well. Start to set your hips back towards your heels. We're going to come into this embryo pose, and we'll do a nice little stretch here after that strengthening of your abductor muscles. So let's walk these arms over to the left, plant your palms, and let your hips drop to the right. Right, sweet little squeeze. We're coming back into our love affair with gravity. All right, walk arms and hips back to center. We'll take it over to the other side. Walk the arms over to the right. Let the hips drop to the left. Right? Can we feel that stretch in the area of the body that was really just strengthening to move our legs around in space? All right, from here, we're going to bring arms and hips back to center. You can start to walk your hands back to your legs. Let's come on to the right or the left hip. Swing your legs around in front, and we'll make our way all the way back down onto our backs. And as we do in this practice, we're going to give ourselves permission to pause in stillness and to let our bodies integrate the practice, right? So maybe the legs are a little bit wider than hip distance, arms are out to the side. Even a minute and a half or 2 minutes to just get out of our body's own way and to really let the systems of circulation, because we have many, right, to let those systems integrate the practice. So let's do a nice big in-breath through your nose. Speaking of systems, we'll tap into that respiratory system. Open your mouth and surrender the exhale. We are going to find at least 3 or 4 more rounds of breath, right? Being still, letting the tissues receive, letting the joints receive, and the joint capsule, right? That really rich, strong, collagen heavy connective tissue around the joints, letting that receive some circulation. As you come to the bottom of this next round of breath, right, we're going to stay here for a couple more rounds of breath, but we're going to start to draw some circles with the ankles and the wrists. Right, this is part 3 of our circles for circulation, right? This is very much our self-care practice to really honor that range of motion in the hips and in the shoulders, these really primary joints. All right, from here, go ahead and draw one more circle with me. Sweep your arms out wide and up. Bring your legs together. Give yourself a nice big stretch. And then you can hug your knees in towards your chest. Maybe wrap these hands around your shins. Eventually, we'll start to roll ourselves to the right or the left and come all the way back up. And I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me for this 3-part program. So really tapping in to our fullness and our vitality.